Hello, everyone. Here's your weather hazard briefing for Monday, June 5th. We are going to still see some heavy rainfall over the central mountains today, over portions of the central mountains. But one thing you'll notice is storm coverage. Shower and thunderstorm coverage is a little bit less today over the central mountains, almost non-existent elsewhere. And for tomorrow, lately we've been seeing numerous scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area the past few days. For tomorrow, there'll be isolated to scattered thunderstorms just generally over the mountainous areas for tomorrow. Now, tomorrow and Wednesday, especially tomorrow with a little less coverage, that's more sunshine, warmer conditions, that might give us a little better chance of strong to even a few severe thunderstorms tomorrow. And again, on Wednesday ahead of the next low, and that next low as it comes in later in the week, that risk of thunderstorms, increasing chance of thunderstorms and heavy rain will return. Satellite this morning shows that low over southern Idaho, and that continues its slow trek to the north towards the Panhandle in western Montana today. Meanwhile, another area of low pressure approaching the California coast. That's that next storm, and this pattern just won't break. The reason why? High pressure over in the plains, high pressure in the Pacific. It just basically we keep recycling this pattern. A low to the southwest shifts over us. Another low develops to our southwest, and then eventually comes back over us. And we're not looking to break that pattern, that stronghold, over the next several days to come. The weather risk outlook, we continue always with our flooding conditions where we have our river flood warnings and areas that are seeing a lot of streams and rivers just right at action or just below flood stage. We've kind of taken the threat down a little bit up into the Lost River area. Some of the streams, the flooding threat, at least for now, has calmed down a little bit. It's still there, but not quite as much of an impact as we have been seeing. Now, with the risk of heavy rainfall and flash flooding that mainly exists today over Lemhi County, up towards Chalice as well, and then on up into Montana. For tomorrow, we do not have one of those marginal risks for excessive rainfall over us, as we're definitely in between systems. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we see those excessive rainfall outlooks returning. And it does look like that's when we'll start to see the increase in moisture that is available to produce heavy rainfall across the area with these showers and thunderstorms. So for today, you'll notice later on this morning we'll have some showers, and even we've had a couple of rumbles of thunder overnight over the central mountains, extending back out across the INL towards Idaho Falls, maybe even far south as Blackfoot. So we go into the morning with that low to our southwest. Storms moving from southeast to northwest still later on this morning. And as that low lifts north, you'll notice most of the coverage is over the central mountains this afternoon on up into the Panhandle and into southwestern Montana. We could see a few isolated thunderstorms over the eastern highlands and southeast highlands, and we may even see a thunderstorm or two down around Palmerell late this afternoon. But you'll notice not much elsewhere across the area. Any storm coverage, anything that happens, that percentage is less than 10%. And like we said, the risk of heavier rainfall is across the central mountains, especially up towards Chalice, Lemhi County, and on up into Montana. So we go into late afternoon into this evening. There is those isolated showers and storms down over Cassia County, down into the South Hills, lingering showers and maybe a few thunderstorms by late evening over Lemhi County and up towards Mackay and Chalice. As that low lifts away, that disappears. We should not see anything across the area. Going into tomorrow afternoon, what moisture we have, like we said, less moisture in place, but with the afternoon heating and instability, there will be some isolated scattered thunderstorms. There will be that risk of strong to severe storms, and you'll notice storms a little more organized late afternoon down to the south of Burley through the Jackpot area back over into the Oahes tomorrow afternoon, and that may be where the better threat of severe weather is, far southwest Idaho versus farther east towards the South Hills, the Albion Mountains, City of Rocks, that area as well. But as we go through the rest of the evening, showers and thunderstorms mainly confined to the central mountains, especially up through the Wood River Valley, the Sawtooth, and surrounding areas. But that quickly is out of there as we go into very early Wednesday morning. Going back to the forecast, looking at precipitation for today, just some light amounts over the central mountains. A few spots might pick up a tenth through noon this afternoon today. A little better chance, especially from Chalice down to around Galena to the north and west. Some of these areas seeing a tenth to a quarter of an inch, and the potential is there for a half an inch, but that's percentages running, I'd say, right around 10, 20, 30% at best of over a quarter of an inch. So it's not high, but it's certainly not zero as well. That's for this afternoon into this evening before we see those showers and storms diminish after sunset. There's what's left over after between 6 p.m. and midnight. Very little precipitation expected, just some light showers. And there are those light showers down towards the Oakley area, south and west of Oakley, into the South Hills down towards Jackpot. For today, those temperatures, plenty of 70s to near 80 degrees across the area for our lower elevations. 60s into some of our higher valleys for this afternoon, 60s to low 70s. For tomorrow afternoon and evening, you'll notice precipitation starts off light later in the morning, in the afternoon hours, earlier afternoon hours, and picks up into the evening. But we're still not looking at that heavy precipitation threat, and that's reflected in the forecast. Maybe a tenth to 2/10 in some areas, and the chance of over a quarter of an inch for tomorrow is only about 30% chance at best. So, like we said, tomorrow is kind of a break from the heavier rainfall. That doesn't mean we won't get a brief heavy downpour. Just the overall higher amounts of rainfall are just not expected to be there tomorrow. But like we said, on the flip side, some strong thunderstorms across some of our southern and south central portions of Idaho for tomorrow, late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. Temperatures tomorrow, this is why we're talking about it, things being a bit more unstable. It's much warmer out there. We've got a potential for more sunshine, plenty of 80s over the lower elevations, mid-6, 70s to near 80 for some of our higher valleys. We may even get closer to 90 as you head towards Mountain Home and Boise for tomorrow afternoon. That instability, that gives you the better chance of seeing some of these stronger winds with storms and small hail as well. Right now, the wind gusts really look to only be about 40 to maybe 50 miles per hour at their highest with some of those storms for tomorrow. Wednesday, we back it off a little bit. Thursday and into Friday, those temperatures back off. That's because we have that low lifting in, more cloud cover, showers and thunderstorms, and what's there will give us that better chance of some heavier rainfall. Looking at our river gauges now, we continue to be solidly at minor flood stage along the Bear River at the Idaho-Wyoming border. Really not going over anywhere over the next several days with that. We're starting to see a slow drop in Antelope Creek, dropping back down into action stage unless some heavier rainfall occurs along there and up in Cherry Creek. It looks like the trend towards action stage and staying in action stage is there, or just right at that cusp of going to minor flood stage over the next few days. The Big Lost River at Howell Ranch, we continue to kind of fluctuate to right around minor flood to staying in action stage. That trend will continue. The forecast later this week into the weekend, that's looking at the potential of heavier rainfall. Most of the snowmelt is in higher elevations, so going to minor flood stage, there's a chance, but certainly not a very high chance at this particular time. Looking at the Big Wood River at Hailey, looking at the forecast and looking at the ensemble forecast, the official forecast is certainly much higher than what the ensembles are saying, but they're still, even the ensembles are giving us about a 65 to 70% chance of getting back to moderate flood stage over the next several days. That's the Big Wood River at the Hailey gauge. Looking at the Henry's Fork at Rexburg, get that out there in a second. You'll notice we're right at the low end of action stage. We dip below action stage until we get towards next weekend, and then we go back up into action stage. There's about a 45-50% chance of going back to minor flood, but right now the official forecast of ensembles keep it in that area of action stage over the next several days. Looking at the Teton River at St. Anthony, you can see the ensembles keep us below action stage, but there's still about a 50 to 60% chance of going to action stage. and the official forecast does go up into, at least for a little bit there, action stage towards the weekend. Similar for the Teton River, this is the Driggs gauge, but it may not be as long, and the percentage is not necessarily quite as high as going to minor flood stage. But you'll notice a lot of this is probably depending on some snowmelt and some those warmer temperatures, the delay with the warmer temperatures tomorrow and Wednesday, and any potential rainfall over the area. And along the Portneuf River, we continue to watch Topaz just slowly continue to drop, definitely into minor flood stage. It does not look like anytime soon we'll be back down into action stage. And for the Portneuf River at Pocatello, we did have a little bit of a spike earlier yesterday, and then we had some rain over the area, so that might have pushed it up briefly. But you'll notice the slow decline back into minor flood stage. The ensemble forecast takes it there quicker. The official forecast is a little bit slower, waiting till the weekend to get it down to a minor flood stage. A lot of this, again, depends on rainfall and how things go within the Portneuf River system over the next few days. So like we said, up in the Central Mountains, especially from Chalice northward, potential some heavier rainfall later on today. But you'll notice thunderstorm coverage is a little less across the south today. Area-wide, it is there tomorrow, but the less coverage allows more instability, warmer temperatures, so in turn we flip to maybe some strong to severe storms across our southern areas, the South Hills, Magic Valley on Tuesday, shifting into the Central Mountains and the Eastern Highlands on Wednesday. Then that next low, it starts making its way our direction. So thunderstorm coverage, heavy rain risk will increase from midweek onward. Have a great Monday, and do stay safe out there, everyone.